Okay, my beautiful friends, sit back and relax because I'm probably going to have a meltdown this morning. It's just out of control. Really is. So, yes, Friday, August 26, 2022. Here we go. All right, let's step back for a moment and just take a few things in. Let's start off with this. The Federal Reserve, freaking public enemy number one, who never can ever possibly tell the truth. You know, it's always the polar opposite of what they're saying. Imagine my shock here. Okay, whatever. So the Federal Reserve has a favorite indicator that it uses to gauge inflation. Now, this gauge gained. It went up in July. Okay. But it gained less than expected. Now, turn on Bloomberg, Fox Business, CNBC, and because it gained less than expected, they're all pushing the same narrative, people. You know what it is? You're going to laugh. Sit down for this one if you're not sitting. We're peaking. Inflation is peaking again. This is at least the third time in the last several months they have pushed the inflation is peaking lie. Let me calm down for a moment here, people, because you know and I know we're nowhere near peak inflation. But again, they got to push that lie. They got to fist feed you that lie. I guess they assume the more they say it, the more believable it will become. No, it's just a freak show. And the tales are going to get even taller. I said that recently. Just pay attention to what's going on here. Okay, you're going to hear more lies, more propaganda, more distractions than ever before as this entire thing just comes down around us. Anyway, so that's the story. We're peaking again. Inflation's peaking, just in case you were wondering what was going on here. It's such bullshit here. But anyway, that's the story. Now, we got another big event today. 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to hear from it. You know what it is? It is Powell, Fed Chair Yellowstone, pathetic, disgusting, vomitous Yellowstone Powell. And he's going to speak at Jackson Hole on the economy, on inflation, whatever. How many of you would be willing to bet that 99.9% of what comes out of its mouth is going to be bullshit, lies, propaganda, distractions, distortions, and a twisting of the truth in every way possible? I still don't understand. I really don't understand this. And I want one of you to explain this to me, please. Okay, I will read the comments. So we understand that according to their numbers today, inflation here in the United States is around 9%. We know it's a lot worse than that. They're trying to sell you another lie that food inflation is just about 9.8%. I think it's more like 70%. All right, anyway, you know the story. It's all lies. But explain this to me. So the Federal Reserve had a 2% target, on their inflation rate. They missed it by exponents. Meanwhile, no accountability. No one's being held to account for this. Why is it that our loving, caring members of Congress, the president, the imbecile sitting behind the Resolute desk today, are not calling the Fed to account or having them perform some kind of circus act before a congressional committee to try to explain to the American people and the people of the world, how they could have gotten it so wrong. And unless, of course, there is another agenda here, unless this is by design, unless, of course, we realize that our policymakers are literally sleeping with the Federal Reserve way to continue to inflate. Why do you think all these programs and acts and money going to finance wars, all this is being utilized right now? Nearly $1 trillion more debt because of the debt forgiveness, that Biden-Stein is using to buy votes. that is going to get these people in more debt than they ever could have imagined. It's just such a scheme. Oh, I'm being forgiven for some of my debt. I'm so grateful. But they're going to take that and they're going to take out loans, credit card, debt and everything else. And these people are going to bury themselves. And it's just going to play right into the whole mechanism that's going on right now. And you are all well aware of that. So anyway, Powell's speech, its speech at 10. Let's listen to it so we can all, and make sure you break out your barf bag. I got a barf bag over here so I could, in case I feel like puking. Yeah, my waste paper basket is probably going to fill up with vomit. All right, look, anyway, so with the market today, forget about it. All right, I want you to focus on that 10-year yield today. All right, the 10-year yield right now is 3.05. We had a profound move lower yesterday. That's the Fed buying the debt. Let's see what happens today. I believe that whatever comes out of its mouth later today, is going to move the market one way or the other. But forget about it. Let's watch that 10-year yield. Who knows? Maybe by some miracle we'll drop below 3%. Imagine Greg Mannarino's shock if that happens. Look, we know the game. We know what's being played here. And I'm going to tell you something else in case you don't know. The market is going to get what it wants from the Federal Reserve, and that is more buying of assets, more debt creation out of thin air, much more inflation, of course, and people are just going to get destroyed like they've been getting destroyed for years. Let's look over at a couple of other things here. The U.S. dollar is a little bit weaker here today. So the setup this morning, you got a 3.05 10-year yield. You got a dollar that's slightly weaker. Okay, I would call that relatively neutral for the market. Right now, stock futures are slightly in the red. At least they were when I started doing this video blog. Crude oil catching a bid. Okay, lovely. Bitcoin still hovering around 21.5. Gold under some pressure, but silver doing well today. So that's our lovely setup for this morning. But I want to hear from you. Can you believe, are you shocked at all that this is at least the third time that they're pushing the inflation is peaking and out of you? Understand, when they tell you something like that, you have to understand that the polar opposite is going on. Inflation is not peaking. You know that. I know that. It's going to get a lot worse. I mean, monumentally worse moving forward here. And you got to think about what this means for yourself here. People are already borrowing beyond their eyeballs to make ends meet. Most people are struggling right now. As I said, our illustrious president should be resigning, but he won't. He wants to continue his party's rulership. Actually, they don't rule a damn thing, okay? That's a freak show. It doesn't matter. Democrats, Republicans, it's all the same. Look at the current president, the previous president, the one before that. What have they all done? They've all done one thing, okay? They've all called on the central bank to continue to inflate. That's all they have done. And it's just not going to stop. Every single president, I don't care how much you love them or hate them, today works for the central bank, which is the ruler of the world. The Federal Reserve, public enemy number one. This is a takeover of the global economy, the global everything by central banks who are pushing their own agenda to own it all, to continue to inflate, to wipe out an entire class of people here, to go back to a feudal system, overlords and serfs. And I think that's in our face. I mean, it's literally right here. But I do want to hear from you. What do you think about all this? Am I getting it right? Am I getting it wrong? Anyway, let me know. I promise to read the comments. So that's the situation, people. Later on today, I will talk about what comes out of its mouth. Unfortunately, I have to listen to him. It's not a him. It's whatever it is. Thing. All right, I have to listen to that so I can, put a little perspective on what's really going on. All right, people, look, please comment. Like I said, share this video, get it out there, and I will see all of you at the end of the day. See you then.